Now, more than 30 countries have sent rescue teams to Haiti. The former US President Bill Clinton is there to discuss what more could be done to help the relief effort. One of the people who's been highly critical of how aid agencies have dealt with past disasters is Sara Pantuliano, who is herself a survivor of the Italian earthquake of 1980. She's with me in the studio. Sara, nice to see you. I said there you have been critical in the past about how these things have been handled. Are we making the same mistakes again?
I think we have to recognize that this is a catastrophe of unprecedented proportion. I don't think we can compare this to anything that has happened before. Even if we took the tsunami as an element of measure, it still wouldn't compare because most of the government infrastructure in the tsunami was still there. It was the coastal towns that were affected, but not, the seat of government. And this is a country where the government was already challenged to provide services and security before the disaster struck.
Yes, so it's not just the disaster in Haiti, is it? It was already a highly dysfunctional society where normal connections between aid and agencies and government and people, that really wasn't there in the first place.
It was definitely a very challenging environment, but add to that, this disaster struck the capital, the heart of the economy, the heart of the communication and transport infrastructure. That has made this response incredibly complex, very, very difficult to implement on the ground.
So if you were asked for one key piece of advice by the authorities or the aid agencies, what would it be?
Get focused on the recovery as soon as possible. It is important after earthquakes that the planning for recovery starts immediately. People want to go back to have a sense of normality. There are key lessons that can be learned for the recovery phases. Focus on the most vulnerable, they would have lost the most. Focus on getting cash into the economy. You can use people to remove the rubble, for instance, and pay them for that. Focus on land issues. People will try to go back to their land. If the land is occupied by others, they won't be happy.
And in your view, will that take a long-term commitment from armed forces, from the states, EU?
Well, those are important to provide an element of security to the aid workers that will be helping with the recovery effort, but it is also equally important that aid is delivered by the specialists.
Sarah, nice to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Takeovers are like poker games, plenty of bluffing,